Welcome back to a brand new episode of Mastering Programming. In today's episode, we're actually doing something pretty cool where we create an app which allows us to upload data into Firebase. This is a database which is provided by Google. In the next video, I'll also be showing you how you can retrieve this information. Let me just show you a quick preview of the app. So let's go ahead and create a new user and I'll call it Monica. And age, I'll give her an age of 20. And of course, she's a female. Let's go ahead and click on register. And when we click on register, as you can see, a new user was created inside of our customers database, and it had all the information that we created. So user age is 20, username is Monica, and the app gives you 2 if you're a female or a male, or 1 if you're a male. Obviously, the app will be able to interpret that and change it to male or female when we're retrieving this data. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start this video. Welcome back, guys. So the first thing we need to do is actually create the project on Firebase. So let's go ahead and click on add project. Let's go ahead and give it a project name. So I'll go ahead and type it YouTube 2, and we can go ahead and click continue, continue. I will select my default account for Firebase and click Firebase continue. Okay, so now that it says our project is ready, we can click on continue. And now we're inside our project. So what we're going to be doing is actually working with the database. We actually don't need authentication to be able to work with the database. To check on how you can create custom authentication, there will be another tutorial on that, but for now we're only looking at how to upload and retrieve information from the database. So let's go ahead and click on get started by iOS. Let's go ahead and give it a bundle ID. To do that, we first need to have our an Xcode project. So let's go ahead and click that. Let's go and create a new project by going new, and then new project. Let's go ahead and select on single view app, click next. Product name, let's go ahead and type YouTube 2. Make sure you have SwiftUI selected, and we can just put it on the desktop. Nice. So let's go ahead and actually navigate and click on this button, and you can copy the bundle identifier and simply paste it here. Our nickname, let's just again call it YouTube, just leave it as YouTube. And let's go ahead and click on register app. So now we need to copy and paste this Google info.plist into our project. So let's go ahead and click on download, and it is downloaded. So let's go ahead and click on right click and then say show in Finder, and we have it over here. Let's go ahead and minimize our project and drag and drop this under the info.plist. Great. So now what we need to do is actually import Firebase into this project. So let's go ahead and actually close Xcode, or close this project. Let's go ahead and open terminal, type in cd, and then drag and drop your project that you're working on right now. So now we need to create a pod file. So let me just open this and show you how things are. Let's go ahead and type in pod init, and this will create a pod file for us. We can open that, and inside of here we need to add the pods or the dependencies that we need to add in order to use Firebase. Now I already have a project that uses the pods, so I prepared a pod file for this, so I can just copy and paste instead of typing it and making some spelling errors. So let's go ahead and copy this and paste it over here, just like that. Now make sure you click on Command S to save, close both of them, and we can type in pod install. And as you can see, it's starting to analyze the dependencies, and then it downloads them. And after this finishes, it will create a workspace that we will be using. So let's go ahead and just wait. As you can see, we have a workspace for our app. Now from now on, anything we need to change in the app or add, we cannot do it in here. We need to use the workspace to do so. We can close terminal safely now. And let's double click on Xcode. maximize this. And we need to first navigate to app delegate and import Firebase, just like that. We then need to go to the function application, and inside of here, we simply need to say Firebase app.configure. Okay, now we can go to our content view, and because it's a bit of complex UI, I prepared the UI over here. So all I'm going to do is simply copy this and paste it over here. And then I'll Command A and then Control I to kind of make things just look better. And now we have all the UI ready for us. So let me just explain really quickly what happened. We first created three variables: username, user age, and user gender, which is username, user age, and user gender. We then created a VStack to put everything on top of each other. We then followed by the text field, and everything that will be typed in the text field will be stored inside of username. Same thing for user age and user gender. So this is just a UI. Nothing is actually happening now. What we need to do is that when this button is clicked, right now nothing happens, but what we want to do is add an action here that when this button is clicked, we upload all this information inside of Firebase, inside of our database that we created. So let's actually navigate to, we can close this. Let's go ahead and come here. And we already finished all the steps, so let's go ahead and just click on next, next, and we can skip the step. And let's go ahead to move to database. And before we can add the function that will add all this information into database, we first need to actually create a database. So let's go ahead and click on this button, start in test mode, next, and I'll leave it as it is. Okay, perfect. So now we have the database ready, and now we can start adding things into our database. Let me just show you an example. So if you start a collection, let's say we give it the name customer, and click on next, you realize that we need to add a document ID, a field, a string, and a value. And this is what we're aiming to do from the app automatically. So let's go ahead and actually cancel this and try do this from the app. So I will move to the last part here, and I'll create a function, and that function will be called add info. And we will use this function to actually add information, and let me just zoom on a little bit on it, to add the information into the database. So first, let's minimize this so that we know what the fields should be, and maybe we should expand this a little bit. So we're going to need to add a username. So let's go ahead, and inside of here we can say username, and this should be carrying the value of a string. After that, we should have age. Actually, let's call it user age, and this should be carrying an int. And after that, we should also have gender. And from memory, this was also an int. You might be wondering, how can gender be int? Well, if it's a male, it will be 1, and if it's a female, it will be 2. And this is how it will be stored inside of database as well. So let's actually make something useful with this function. We can come here, and first we need to import Firebase. So we can type in import, and we can type in Firebase. We then need to head down and create a reference to the database. So we need to say let db, short for database, equal to firestore dot firestore. And now we can actually start using that reference to create our collection. So I'm going to type in db.collection, and inside of here I'm going to say users. Well, actually, let's call it customers. And I will then say document. And finally, we can start setting the data. So inside of here, we're going to open a boxy bracket. I don't know if that's actually what you call it. And we're going to start by the username. And we're going to be passing our parameter here as the value. So I'm going to be saying user name. And we're going to do the same thing for the rest parameters. So I'm going to say user age, and then I will say user age, followed by user, followed by gender, and I will pass in gender. Believe it or not, that's actually all you need to set up the collection, to add the things inside of the database. And now, to call this function, we simply need to come over here, and we need to say add info, and then we need to pass the 3 objects to our field over here. So let me just zoom out a little bit. And all I'm going to do is inside of here, I'm simply going to say, actually, I'm going to be saying self dot user name, self dot user age, and finally self dot user gender. Let's go ahead and wait for the error to pop up because I think I stuffed something up. And as we can see, expected int, okay. And I think the issue is that we don't actually need the $sign for this kind of operation. So let's remove the $signs. And that's actually all we need, okay. We also need to add a self. And that's actually, finally, all we need to do in order to post something into the database. So let's actually give this a go. Let me just make sure that which iPhone we have, the 11 Pro, and I will show you exactly how this works. I am going to run this. Okay, so now we have the app running here, and let's try see if we actually insert the data correctly. So over here, I'm simply going to type in David Bullis 261, and I'm going to select 20 years old, and I am a male. Let's try. I am a male, and I'll click on register. And let's refresh this page. And as you can see, we successfully created a customer collection. And hopefully when this load, we also have the fields. As you can see, we have the gender field as 1, which means I'm a male. We have the user age as 20, exactly as we inserted it, and the username as David Bullis 261. Thank you for watching, and in the next episode, I'll show you how you can retrieve this information, meaning querying it, and how you can extract every single field individually as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be posting my source code on GitHub. Have a good day.